I'm very proud to give you this preview of Causality 2.0. The main point of this release is a whole new area called Research, where you stage and organize all your beats and snippets, and track which ones you're using in the script. Part of this is character development, where you graphically map out your characters and their relationships. And boy, does that improve your writing. But before that, let's cover some other big changes. The first is that you no longer have to use blocks. All lanes can be set to freestyle, and then you can just freestyle arrange beats. Some people prefer to think this way, and it's also easier for new users. So this is the new default for lanes. Next, we no longer have subtext blocks. Subtext is now just a kind of beat. Notice the little electrical charge icon in front. If you use subtext beats, this isn't very different. You're just free to put things where you want them. You can change the mode in the inspector. And on that note, we now have an inspector. So now let's talk research. You switch to research using this tab up here. And you can take it full screen with the escape key. In research, you create folders with beats and snippets. You simply right-click to create folders. And then you right-click to create beats or snippets. And you press Enter to create more of the same. This isn't just note-taking. These are real beats and real snippets that you'll eventually drag into the story. They even get a green check mark when they're used. And if you delete them, they stay in research. We're just pulling them out of the script. So this is exactly like video editing, where you have assets in bins, then you drag them into the timeline and pull them out if you don't want to use them. Deleting is only destructive if you delete directly from research. Working in research is incredibly freeing because you can brainstorm without having to think about structure right away. It also makes you think in better ways, for example by encouraging showing instead of telling. In my story here, a character has a crush on someone. It's tempting to just put the abstract idea into the story, for example with an event where he tells his shrink or does a voiceover. But since we're staging real events, I can develop all the events that together would show it, and I can understand them as a whole. Maybe I have an event where he becomes quiet when she walks into the room. Or that he says awkward, fumbling things. Or says some smart-ass thing that falls flat. This shows that he has a crush without ever using exposition. And then when I feel confident about this angle, I can start dropping them into the whiteboard. You can also attach snippets to beats to take a stab at writing some text. So I'll write an event where he says something awkward. I haven't committed to putting it into the script yet, I'm just experimenting. And that's incredibly freeing because the moment you have to think structure, your creativity becomes very limited. When you're ready, you just drag it in. And if you don't like it, you just delete it. It's non-destructive. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to create everything in research first. Anything you create directly in the whiteboard or the script goes into the unsorted folder. At some point, you should organize these things into proper folders. So now, how does this tie into character development? The research area has a canvas where you can drag characters in folders. You simply drag characters in. And then you create relationships between them. And then you drop in folders on these relationship lines that express aspects of the relationship. Anything close to a line sticks to a line. And then if I click any of the characters, I immediately get all the folders and beats related to him, like his backstory or his twisted logic. And if I click any of the folders attached to relationships, I can see the beats of the relationship. The crush between these two characters is an actual arc, so I've divided it into beginning, middle, and end folders. I still haven't written any part of the script, I'm just prototyping. But these are real, actual beats I'll later drop into the whiteboard. And now imagine me doing this between all the characters in the story. This creates a fantastic overview of your characters and results in deeply character-driven stories.